Hey everybody, another GMG review. Today I'm taking a look at the new Skirmish carry case from Games Workshop, which was kindly sent as a complimentary review copy, and which is a new style, basically, from their old ones. I have had many Games Workshop Skirmish carry cases. This one right here is, I think, the most recent style. There's the hard plastic, and then they've done some of these like vacuum formed, like stylized ones too. I have the Blackstone Fortress one. I have this Warhammer 40,000 one they did for 9th edition, I believe this came out for. And they've basically, since they've done away with pocket foam, which would be like each miniature being put in individually, they've added in these sort of like wavy foam things. And they've been great. I've been carrying stuff back and forth to the studio to paint. They carry like a decent amount of stuff. This one is about 12 inches by 8 inches, roughly, or maybe 10 by 14. It's enough that you can carry like a small army, and this one was designed to be. Now, the Skirmish carry case is smaller. I think it's roughly 9 by 9, although the interior like carrying area for this is a lot smaller. And instead of having foam, it's got something new and exciting you can check out right now, which is these little guys. Silicone, I mean, I don't even know how to describe this. Silicone fingers. They're very different. They are attached to the interior of each lid, and these are basically identical and accordion together to hold your miniatures in place with the gentle fingers of this, whatever this type of rubber is. And the idea here, I think, is that the miniature is cradled. So I grabbed some models, different sizes. They're cradled inside these, and then pressure fit from the other side with these same little fingers basically closing around it. So it's one layer. You stack your miniatures in rows. I think the intention is the bases go all like roughly all the way back, and the detail of the miniature themselves is designed to hold them roughly in place. Through just this like little forest of rubber without causing any type of paint chipping or damage or the models bang against each other. I'm immediately concerned by the pressure fitting, because when you take these and you put the lid on, you're pressing down to make these close. You can see that there's basically a toggle that goes on either side. You line up little pins, little plastic pins here and here, and then you snap the sucker closed. And that's it. It's held together. Now, if I give it like a really good shake, we'll see if these guys move around at all. Oh, something's loose. Let's see what's banging on the edges here. Yeah, one of them came loose, the Sarge came loose. So the idea here is that these will hold a miniature in place and keep them from banging into each other. This guy got loose though. The fingers were not enough to hold him. He was too mighty of a sergeant, being that he's a space vampire. Probably he just like wanted to burst free. Doesn't like being in there. And you can see this guy kind of rotated as well. Now that was a violent and more than you will probably ever have assault on these miniatures from a stability point of view. But I will say that the heavier the model is, probably the more likely they are to move around. And that's why I grabbed this guy. This guy is Pewter. He is going to sit in here, and now let's just see exactly where I put him. I'm gonna put him in this top corner. Oh, come on, let's be fair. Let's give this like a proper nesting. We'll push this down. Now, I will note too that like the details haven't been broken off these, which I think is important. Snap this sucker closed. All right, ready? Give a little. Not even that violent this time around. Something's loose in there. Yeah, he's all over the place. Yeah, this is just what I thought. Let's not transport metal miniatures in here. It will go poorly. The heavier the miniature is, the more likely it is to move around inside this carrying case and bang around, and you're gonna end up with a bent Astrotelepathica staff. Nobody wants that. So what does that mean? Well, what that means is, from a Games Workshop model point of view, and you can probably fit, like if we just count across here, you could probably go 5, 10, 15, 20 if you're just doing like man size 32 mil base. So you could do a whole kill team, 20 models, a whole kill team. You could do a whole Necromunda gang or a whole Warcry set, as long as the base size is smaller than 50 mil. 50 mil is probably about the biggest you want to put in here. No dreadnoughts. No Drats allowed, but Terminators, anything smaller than that, you probably fit Tyranid Warriors and stuff as well if you wanted to. And that's what it's designed for, is that small collection, but it's going to have to be in plastic. Like, you're going to have it be light enough that the tension of these little guys, these little like flicky doos, will hold them in place without them moving around too much. Say what you will about the previous version, and I know that stuff did kind of move around in these a little bit because you had these big long sort of like things that they could travel down into. There's a piece of broken miniature in there. Oh, it's goggles off one of my Leagues of Votann guys. So models would like bang into each other. At the very least, they were all separated by row, so they never really came out. I did have metal models fly around inside these too. I would say it's decidedly more likely that they will fly around. So if you're a metal model player, like if you play Infinity, if you play with older GW miniatures, you know what I mean, that are in like the metal line, you probably want to go with like a traditional like pocket foam case. This is primarily for use, I think, with Games Workshop's own products in their own ecosystem, and that will be where it will hold value. I do really like the size of it. The size of it would fit, like that 9x9 size, this is going to fit in a backpack like a million times better than a carrying case would otherwise. So if you're just going to the gaming store, if you're going to your buddy's house to play, and you're playing all plastic models, I think this is the perfect size. I will say I don't love these latches. So if you look at these latches, they're like primed to get caught on something in your backpack as you put them in or pull them out, and then you got miniatures flying everywhere. There's 4 of them, so as long as 2 of them hold together, but if 2 on the side come apart, right, instantly the corner comes open. And there's no like locking mechanism on them except for them snapping. So as soon as that little lip goes in here, I think these are gonna kind of have the same life expectancy as the very, very, very old pistol case style Games Workshop cases from the 80s, where when the latches went, they didn't work anymore. They had egg carton style foam in them. And I have one somewhere. I should have grabbed it to show you guys. But when the latches break, basically the thing doesn't work anymore. So yes. So do I like the idea? Do I like trying something new? Yeah. Do I think it'll probably work great for Games Workshop games and their own models? Probably, yeah. You could probably get away with Malifaux models in it too. Although I'll be honest, the like pressure fitting of like clamping it down, like pushing it together would make me nervous on like Malifaux model details because they have a lot of small detail typically. But overall, I would say that this is for Games Workshop customers inside Games Workshop. This probably isn't something that if you're playing with heavier miniatures, you would want to transport them in. And that's kind of a shame. I mean, I like the new technology stuff, but I love the size of this. I love how like transportable and like compact it is. Yeah, I mean, but you could just get a sandwich box and stick pocket foam if you wanted to. So my Infinity miniature is definitely not going in here. I was thinking what I'll probably end up doing, maybe I'll do like a follow-up to this. I'll take some stuff to Halifax. I got to fly for HalCon at the end of this month. Maybe I'll take some stuff to Halifax in here and see how it survives. Because I know I'm doing another stream for Second Life, doing like a charity stream. So I got to bring some models in to play a game, and that means if I can fit something in here to play the game with, then we'll see how it does as like carry on and see how it survives. But overall, I would say this is a buy Games Workshop for Games Workshop's products kind of case, which is kind of where all their stuff's heading. If you're outside of the Games Workshop ecosystem and not playing with plastic miniatures, like Battletech, if you're using like old metals and plastics together, probably you don't want to use this case to carry your stuff in, which is a bit of a shame, but not really their fault because they're not trying to make something for other people. You know what I mean? It's more like, can you purpose it or not? I do think it's a neat idea, and probably it will have less overall movement of the models than that last generation of like the sort of like wavy foam ones did. So yeah, so we'll see how this one does. I think this is an experiment because I didn't see they're not doing big ones yet, but this little guy seems like an experiment. And yeah, I think that it's filling a specific niche for their skirmish games, and if you're into that, then it's probably a great product. If you're outside of that ecosystem and you're looking to transport heavier models, I would go with something else. So big thanks for watching. We'll see you for more GMG reviews. Till next time, I'm Ash. Happy gaming.